A lot of people say the Kung Fu Panda movies are good. They are wrong. Kung Fu Panda is just like every other DreamWorks franchise. It's a Shrek ripoff and extremely unfunny, except this takes the fetish moments from Shrek and makes them even worse. And I'm not doing just one. I'm doing the whole shitty fat furry trilogy. This film looks really shitty, and is garbage. As much as I love fat guys eating, this sucks. Wait, me and every other sane person hates that sound. Glad we get to hear it for a whole movie. The furriest five have no character traits. They just existed to sell Kung Fu Panda playsets. They are also celebrity cameos, so they were just trying to manipulate people in the theater in order to sell tickets. You're awful, DreamWorks. The villain has a literal spiked mustache like Waluigi. He is basically an Asian stereotype with the mustache too. It's just a generic kung fu villain who believes the world should be ruled by the strong. He's also a buff furry. This means the creators wanted to show fat was better than muscle, a message which encourages bad health. The fat guy trope is just overplayed at this point. Why don't we ever see fat guys where they are ridiculed the whole time? We need unsympathetic fat guys in movies, guys. When fat guys are shown as completely positive, it makes people want to be with them in real life, and they produce more fat people. Also, we get really graphic face-sitting scenes. Seriously, this has to be the most graphic one I've ever seen. It's hard to even argue against the fetishes in this. The motion in this movie looks like shit, and the angles are usually really bad for the fight scenes. Even the ideas are bad. The Furious Five finally do something on a bridge, and right when it's about to get good, they all lose. Also, how is Mantis so strong? Guess he's riding. The last fight is dumb, and it reminds me of earlier stupid moments, and also has Tai Lung stretch. Tai Lung, more like Popcorn Lung. Also, Po just randomly learns how to fight. Obvious bad movie. And on top of generally looking dated and terrible, I never want to see this trilogy again. Shrek literally parodied the analogy the turtle makes in this movie. I don't want to listen to Jack Black trying to be funny for an hour, but I still watch the whole trilogy, because the people need to know. Everyone loves to jerk off to the second film, but it was even worse than the first one. Poe's master is an asshole in this.
By far, nothing else came close.
Didn't he see this fat guy as his son? It was the worst day of my life. The creators are so stupid. Unless the day a fat guy got picked over Tigress was worse than the day his son was taken away as a criminal. Which, knowing DreamWorks, is completely what was intended. There's more stomach-rumbling fat kink content in this movie. It's embarrassing. Also, Po can't even beat Tigress when Popcorn Lung could beat the entire five. So if you're paying attention, the tier list goes like this. And Po is clearly trying. That's just how he fights. Also, why are people shipping these two? I guess people want the hot girl to get with the fat guy trope. Again, this is why we need to hate fat guys. I'm tired of this power fantasy BS. Also, they introduced these characters we've never seen before and we're supposed to care when they die. Why would they face down a cannon? What does a big gun do if not shoot a big bullet? Then you have the villain, a complete edgelord who's written like an anime villain. He gives the PTSD debuff to Po and it's just dumb. Why does Po remember the spots? He barely saw it. Shouldn't he react to the white more? Oh wait, that would mean you have PTSD the whole time. So we have to introduce some dumbass specific physical feature this red and black edgelord peacock has. His motivation makes no sense. He's trying to stop the future from coming. Hey dumbass, it's the future. Why are you trying to change it? And isn't this what the funny cartoon panda needs? A tragic past where his mother and father died? Also, Po secretly has PTSD, so therefore it's deep. You know who else writes like that? That's what fan fictions do. It's embarrassing, and it leads to an embarrassing payoff. There are also edgelord wolves. Why do so many DreamWorks films feel like fan fictions? Maybe it's because they're hack writers who shouldn't work. These movies are bad enough on their own, but to see them in combination with everything else is just offensive. They've made so many franchises trying to be Shrek just so they could make another shitty franchise that's trying to be good. Then they make awful games too. It's like they want to be bad. But enough about the company, let's go over the movie. Because they just forgot everything. Po isn't immune to pressure points anymore, I guess. If they're forgetting major plot points, what's the point? This is a fanfic sequel in every way, from the ships down to the edgy origins. This is a garbage sequel which makes all the same mistakes. Awful. An unfunny and awful end to this trilogy. A film series should get better and better. This one just gets worse and worse. Now we have tons of fat people and a fat love interest. At least they're saying fat people belong together, but still. The villain looks like he smells bad, and he's got edgy-ass chains. I can barely hear J.K. Simmons, therefore it's bad. The Furious Five get more sidelined and get turned into jade statues. Then they establish new characters for shitty world building and even bring the dumb characters back. Maybe it's just referencing the shitty TV show, but I hope it isn't. They finish off the Tigress ship and thankfully decanonize it. Way to bait and switch shippers in a way I can respect, but now it makes no sense, so... Poe can't die anymore, which is dumb. They should introduce a mechanic to destroy souls, because now death has no meaning. He can just revive himself. Apparently no one else can just hop in a pool. Oh, I never tried it. I don't know how it works. Then they reference the intro. It should have stayed a joke. The turtle saying there was a real reason for his choice is over-explaining it like a fanfiction too. All fanfiction all the time. Also, no Popcorn Lung or P-Space Cock cameo. Shaking my head. Of course they didn't reference these guys. Terrible. It's just kind of boring, honestly, and they referenced the second film's edgelord fanfic origin. Fuck. This is honestly really terrible. It would be one of DreamWorks' worst if they didn't make such bad movies. Just a terrible trilogy, but I mean it's trying to get into the Chinese market, so I don't care. These are more soulless cash grabs. End of story. What a bunch of skadoosh bags.